Imagine waking up tomorrow and everything looks the same. Same room, same face in the mirror, same voice inside your head telling you what you can and cannot do. But something inside you has quietly died. Not your body, not your mind, your energy. The thing that used to make you want to get up, to fight, to hope. Gone. And you don't even remember the exact day it left. Have you ever felt tired in a way that sleep cannot fix? Have you ever smiled at people while something inside you was screaming? Have you ever achieved something you wanted and felt nothing at all? That is not laziness. That is not depression pretending to be simple. That is a warning, a signal from the deepest part of you, telling you that you have been living as someone you were never meant to be.
Most people call it burnout. Most people call it stress.
But there is an old, uncomfortable truth hiding underneath it, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You have been performing a version of yourself for so long that the real one has gone silent. This is where Carl Jung enters the story. Not as some distant philosopher lecturing from the past, but as a man who stared directly into the darkest rooms of the human mind and came back with a warning most people are still too afraid to hear. Jung did not believe your energy disappears because you are weak. He believed it disappears because you are divided. Because there are two versions of you living inside one body, fighting a war neither of you can win. One version is the mask, the face you show the world. Polite, agreeable, successful, controlled. The other version is the shadow. Everything you buried, every desire you called wrong, every anger you swallowed, every truth you were told was too dangerous to say out loud.
And here is the part that will unsettle you.
The mask takes energy to hold up. Every single day, every conversation, every smile you did not mean, every yes you wanted to say no to. It is not free. It costs you something. And most people are spending their entire life force paying that bill without even knowing there was ever another way to live. So what is the one thing Jung believed could change this completely? It is not positive thinking. It is not motivation. It is not another morning routine you will quit in 9 days. It is confrontation. Direct, uncomfortable, brutal confrontation with the parts of yourself you have spent your whole life running from. Jung called it facing the shadow, and he said something that still terrifies people who hear it for the first time. He said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will control your life, and you will call it fate." Read that again. You will call it fate.
Think about how many times you have said,
"This always happens to me. I always attract the wrong people. I always sabotage the good things. I always end up back here." You called it bad luck. You called it a pattern. But Jung would say you were watching yourself, again and again, obey a part of your mind you refuse to look at. This is the twist most people never expect. You think you need more discipline, more motivation, more hustle. But energy does not come from forcing yourself harder. Energy is what floods back into you the moment you stop fighting yourself. Picture two men in a tug of war, pulling with everything they have, neither one winning, both of them exhausted. Now imagine one of them simply lets go. All that force, all that tension, it does not disappear. It floods back into his body. That is what happens the moment you stop suppressing the parts of yourself you were taught to hate. But here is where it gets darker and more honest.
facing your shadow does not feel good. It is not a soft, glowing self-help moment. It feels like grief. It feels like shame surfacing after years underwater. It feels like admitting that the anger you buried was valid, that the ambition you silenced was real, that the boundary you never set has been quietly destroying you from the inside for years. Most people never do this, not because they cannot, but because it is terrifying to admit that the person you built for the world's approval is not who you actually are. So they keep performing. They keep smiling in rooms that drain them. They keep saying yes to people who take without ever giving back. They keep chasing goals that were never truly theirs, achievements chosen by a childhood need for approval, not by their own soul. And slowly, without ever noticing the moment it happened, they become strangers to themselves. This is the brutal lesson Jung wanted the world to understand. The people who seem the most calm and composed are often the most disconnected from themselves. Control is not peace. Silence is not healing. Sometimes the most exhausted people are the ones who never allow themselves to feel anything at all. Now, here is something that will change how you see every difficult person in your life, including yourself. Jung believed that whatever you refuse to face in yourself, you will meet in others. The people who irritate you the most, the traits you cannot stand in someone else, arrogance, weakness, selfishness, cowardice, are often reflections of something inside you that you have never allowed yourself to accept or release. That is uncomfortable. That is meant to be uncomfortable, because real transformation is never comfortable. It asks you to stop blaming the outside world for a war that is actually happening within you. So how do you actually begin this? Not through a slogan, not through a 5-minute video trick, through one deliberate act repeated with honesty. Sit alone, without your phone, without noise, and ask yourself one dangerous question. What am I pretending not to feel? Do not answer quickly. Let the silence sit there until something true rises to the surface. It might be anger towards someone you forgave too fast. It might be grief you never allowed yourself to finish. It might be a desire you called selfish when really it was simply honest. Jung believed this single act, facing what you avoid, done consistently, is the one thing that begins to restore your energy completely. Not because the pain disappears, but because you stop spending your life force hiding from it. This is the part most people are not ready for. Number 5 changes everything, and it is this. Energy was never about adding more to your life. It was never about more motivation, more hustle, more positivity. It was about subtraction, removing the exhausting performance, removing the fear of being truly seen, removing every version of yourself that exists only to be accepted. The people who feel truly alive are not the ones with perfect lives. They are the ones who stopped fighting themselves, who stopped punishing their own truth to keep the peace with people who never deserved that sacrifice. And this is where the warning comes in, because every warning deserves respect. If you keep avoiding this confrontation, the shadow does not stay quiet forever. It leaks out sideways, in sudden anger you cannot explain, in relationships that repeat the same wound, in a tiredness that no rest can touch, in moments where you hurt the people you love the most, using pain you never processed from somewhere else entirely. Jung's darkest truth was this: you do not get to choose whether your unconscious speaks. You only get to choose whether you listen to it on your terms or let it destroy you on its own. So ask yourself honestly right now, what have you been performing? What version of you shows up to keep others comfortable while the real one suffers in silence? What truth have you been avoiding because facing it feels more dangerous than losing yourself slowly? The transformation Jung spoke about was never loud. It was never a dramatic before and after. It was quiet. It was private. It happened in the moment someone finally stopped lying to themselves. And once that happens, something shifts that cannot be undone. Energy returns, not because life became easier, but because you stopped carrying two people inside one exhausted body. You were never broken. You were only divided. And the moment you choose to become whole again, even in silence, even when no one is watching, is the moment your entire life quietly begins to change. So the real question is not what is draining your energy. The real question is, how long will you keep running from the one person you can never actually escape? Yourself.